Crazy God story. Years ago, my friend Steve needed a new generator, so he found the one he wanted. It was $400. He saved up the money and then drove his red truck into town to buy it. Every truck Steve ever owned was red, and that's significant to the story. On his way to the store, he saw a guy on the other side of the road in a wheelchair. The Holy Spirit told Steve, go ask that man what he needs. And Steve was like, I don't want to right now. But the Holy Spirit again said, go ask that man what he needs. So Steve turned his truck around, pulled up next to the guy and said, what do you need? The guy cussed Steve out. Steve wasn't deterred, so he pulled his truck over, got out and said, look, God told me to ask you what you need, so tell me what you need. The guy said, I need a new wheelchair. Steve saw that the man's wheelchair was falling apart and held together with bungee cords with cardboard for a seat. Steve said, I know where there's a medical supply store. Let's go look at wheelchairs. When they got there, the salesman said, because of this guy's medical problems, he's got to have a specialized wheelchair, which we have in stock. He went to the back and came out with a red wheelchair and said, this is exactly what the guy needs. It's $5,000. Steve was like, I don't have that much money. So the guy said, well, we just took one in on trade. I'll go get that. It was the exact same red wheelchair that was just slightly used, and the guy was like, it's $400. Steve didn't get his generator that day, but he led the man in the wheelchair to Christ, and then that man went on to lead tons of other people to Christ, and him and Steve became lifelong friends. If Steve wouldn't have obeyed when he did, nothing in that story would have worked out. I believe God spoke to Steve and orchestrated everything because he knew Steve would obey, and that's the way that God works in the lives of those who obey him.